So I was talking to Gary on Sunday morning, and we were talking about this Runit Straight thing. And I said to Gary, and I swear I said it to Gary, yeah, until someone dies doing it. Let's get into the story,
Don't
shall
do
we?
it. That's the strong message from a school principal, police and brain experts tonight after a 19-year-old died playing a tackle game based on a social media trend. Ryan Satterthwaite suffered a head injury playing a private run-it-style game in Palmerston North on Sunday. Many experts and officials have been warning about the dangers of the full-contact craze. James Fleury reports.
Two men going head-to-head at full speed in an adrenaline-fueled craze that's taken social media by storm. The high-speed run has long raised red flags for those who know all too well how a seemingly simple game can go so wrong.
From day one, we were worried about the risk to our young people with these developing brains, and the risk that participation in this type of event would have for them. There's the very immediate risk from that high-speed impact of brain injury or death.
Her worst fears realised today with the news 19-year-old Ryan Satterthwaite died in hospital on Monday night after being critically injured in an impromptu game of the social media-driven trend in Palmerston North on Sunday.
I can say it was one spectacular tackle, and yet sufficiently violent enough to give this man a fatal brain injury.
Just absolutely heartbroken, devastated for the family, devastated for the community who have lost this young man.
Ryan was a former student of Palmerston North Boys High School, along with two of his brothers. The school rector told One News they were all good fellas and he was saddened by Ryan's death. The principal among those now warning any others drawn to the trend to just not do it.
The risks are just too great. If it's not a fatal injury like in this occasion, it'll be some other sort of injury, perhaps a life-changing injury. So our young men need to just think a little bit carefully about participating in some of these events that they see on social media.
Criticism now being thrown at event organisers who weren't involved in the Sunday afternoon game but have turned the social media craze into a heavily marketed event.
I'd say that these promoters of this event have been really cynical, and they have used social media very effectively to target our young people. They have led them to believe that this is a bit of fun, that this is something they could do in their backyard.
Today's tragedy sending a clear message that it is not something you should try at home.
James.
So there's the story. A couple of thoughts. Interesting. Someone just put in the chat, I think it was my sister, broke their arm playing bull rush. I can remember when I was at school, and it was then called WWF, Jake the Snake Roberts and all those guys. And there was a trend of, clotheslining kids and stuff in schools and pile driving them, and kids were getting damaged doing that. So where is this line between sanitizing and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, obviously someone's passed away, but reality, sanitizing everything so nothing ever kind of dangerous gets shown. I guess the difference with WWF, it was actually theatre and they were trying to sell it as real, where this is real. And yeah, when I heard this yesterday, I was just like, me and Gary literally just said, until someone dies. The next day, someone dies. Not from the actual sport, but for doing what kids in my years at school were doing with wrestling. They were doing pile drivers and kids getting, I think kid got broken necks and that kind of stuff. So mimicking it. So it's just, there's other stuff I want to show you, but yeah, it's not good, eh? It's not good. And what do we do?
Oh, but me and my workmates were talking about this the other day. Is the internet hype about this Runit Straight? What they were doing in Australia was picking up pace, and it was just like, this is something that seems so horrifically dangerous. Almost immediately, it was like, this is a dumb idea, because like when you look at what it's based on, a game of rugby, right? Is it you like it's more controlled. It's more controlled than this shit show. And it's just very clear that someone's taken it, hyped up the marketing. We're going to make some money out of this. That's the only thing we care about. And pumped into social media where people, kids, will pick this up. My understanding is this guy that died, it was as part of a 21st celebration or just after a 21st celebration. So alcohol's probably involved there. So even less control over what goes wrong, even less thoughts of self-preservation go on there. Like, kids do dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they do. But yeah, like, you know, people talk about bull rush and all of it, you know, kids playing blackout games, trying to choke each other out and all of this sort of stuff. All of this happened during my schooling. But this is just something that just seems so, like, if it's not a death, it's a traumatic brain injury, or it's someone getting paralyzed or something like this. And I think when society or authorities clamp down on this and say, fucking no way, because you're going to put people in hospital, then it's going to be like, the government's cracking down. You know, it's like, I saw a video the other day of an organised backyard boxing match.
It's not uncommon. Go to YouTube, you'll find that all over the place.
Yeah, so this was eye-opening for me. I didn't know that this sort of shit happened, and I was like, well, this is a TBI or an intensive care trip just waiting to happen. Yeah. Like, literally trying to box around a washing line, for fuck's sake. Like, people will do dumb shit.
What do we do? How do we, like, we played bull rush, and in fact, to be really honest with you, the difference between that Runit Straight and rugby is very rarely in rugby do you get like 30 metres of clear space to run straight at someone. In fact, that's a pretty ineffective way of getting past someone most of the time. It does happen, right? It does happen, but normally you're trying to get it past them or around them or passing it to the next person. So very rarely is it like 30 metres, one-on-one, you know, knee on chin. That's very, very uncommon. But I can remember playing rugby at the school I went to, Sacred Heart College, and certainly in our last couple of years, we got pretty violent. And the game, you know, it's like with teenage boys, the game was to try and hurt someone, sort of, whilst you're playing rugby. And the death that just happened could have happened anyway, if it was boys being boys and playing stupid games. It's been inspired by this. I'm putting air quotes out here when I say sport. What should I say? Event. Nonsense, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's definitely not a sport.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah, I guess I'm trying to take a step back and look at the whole thing and go, it's how much of the blame, like in a court of law now, how much of the blame lies with the Runit Straight promoters for bringing this to the forefront of New Zealand teenage boys' minds. Because that's what they want to do. They want to bring it to the forefront of New Zealand teenage boys' minds because those are the ones who will watch it. Those are the ones who will stand on the sideline and go, way! So they're actively trying to put it in teenage boys' heads, and now that it's been put in these teenage boys' heads, it's resulted in a death. Then what?
Or let's be clear, Pat, or people with a teenage boys' heads mentality. That may be in their mid to late 20s. Like the other one that springs to mind that came in front of my eyeballs not too long ago was, have you seen competitive slapping? Great minds, Pat.
Let's have a look at this. So this is the same sort of thing.
This is so dumb.
Yeah, let's have a look. Knockdown. I'm sure there's some people who don't actually want to see that. I probably should have said Taylor's on the way.
I'm amazed that you had that teed up. That was brilliant. Just same mind, Pat.
But this is the reality. The reality is when you go and have a look at a contact sport and you look at something that's literally just trying to poleaxe the other person, then that is naturally come to mind. It's not boxing. It's not like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of boxing, but for people who are, they'll say there's a skill to it. It's an art, you know, moving and ducking and weaving and bobbing and that sort of stuff and getting away from punches. That's literally just standing there going, can you make my brain shuffle around in my skull, please? Which is very different.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what we need to bring back is competitive, semi-competitive, semi-organised, semi-regulated background tug of war. Tug of war is the superior. Tug of war is a real sport, and I don't know if it was just a South Canterbury thing, but when I was a teenager, there was a citywide high schools fucking tug of war tournament or something like that. It was amazing. We should do that. Or instead of slapping,
this is Switzerland versus England tug of war.
Right. So why are we not funding this? This is heaps better. You can have a pit in the middle. Oh, okay. So they don't have the pit in the middle. That's disappointing. There's nothing happening, Pat.
Just jumping.
Are they pulling yet?
Easy. That's not the kind of language that we'll talk about here.
Are they pulling? Are they giving it a tug?
There you go.
Are they tuggers? Oh, there we go.
Here's a bunch of tuggers.
I thought Switzerland was neutral. Should they be in the middle?
Yeah, it's true, actually.
Oh, look at this. They've got some technique going on.
Anyway, that's us.
Or another one I discovered the other day, armoured MMA. There's people doing MMA in full suits of plate armour. That is a good watch.
But see, Chew, what you've just done by saying that is basically the adult version of these guys screaming at Run It.
Run It Straight in full plate armour.
Yeah, but you know, that's not the thing, eh? You know about...
At least there's protection.
Well, it's not, though. That's what brain injuries are. Brain injuries... No, brain injuries. That's why it's so bad in NFL. Brain injuries are the brain smashing backwards and forwards inside the skull.
No, see, he's wearing a big metal helmet. Stops it.
This is madness. We should probably not play this because I've never seen this.
Yeah, this is absolutely going to get yanked. But yes, that's my new obsession because it's look, I want to see Run It Straight done in full plate armor. I want to see 150 kilo South Pacific Islander in a full suit of armor trying to get up any head of steam.
150
and then just run into another big dude in armor. It'd be fine. It'd make a hell of a noise.
Now, I know we're not minimizing the very serious story, but where are we now going to leave off this conversation with the guy dying because he's mimicking it? What do we do?
I think, and from looking in the chat, like I haven't seen this myself, but someone in the chat did mention it, that the rugby organisations have come out very strongly and said, don't fucking do this.
The Warriors, actually in the news story, all the Warriors players were obviously being coached, but like, oh, I've never heard of it. What are you talking about? What's it called? Obviously being coached, because of course.
Which is not what they've got over in Australia, where a lot of league players have been involved in it.
Well, there's a former English rugby league player who's one of the main people in Australia doing it. So yeah, it's got some people, but yeah, I don't know. Look, it's a horrible thing. Can anyone be held accountable? Probably not. What does that mean of parents of teenage boys in particular? What do we do? Dude, there was 100 times when I was a teenage boy that if something had gone 5 degrees the wrong way, dead, quadriplegic, paraplegic, loss of limbs. Honestly, I won't even say them here to make someone think about the kind of thing, but dozens of times, there but for the grace of God, So what do? You let them out there and you love them and you agree you're just taking a risk with your kid in society. Is that all you can do?
Yeah. I don't think there's a you can put out as many PSAs to say, don't do this. It's stupid. You will get hurt. Like it's not a case of on a long enough timeline you will get hurt.
Yeah.
And I think kids at that age, like especially teenagers, they just don't have it. It'll never happen to them. This is why there is so much dumb shit in that age group, as they think that they're indestructible. So I think the people that have come up with this and marketed this should fuck off into the sunset to never be heard of again.
Slink away quietly. They should slink away quietly, thanking their lucky stars that New Zealand government doesn't allow companies to be sued by private individuals. They should slink away.
Because I absolutely think that they're culpable. I think when it comes to looking at who this appeals to, then the rugby clubs and the high schools need to get in front of it.
Yeah.
And just really hammer home the fact that people have been talking about this thing for like less than a month, and we already have a death.
Yeah.
Like that's the timeline.